nothing for nothing. You gotta work for what you get.
You gotta get them shots off. Left hook, right hand.
Both hands up, both hands up. Let's go. Go out there, focus on the job that has to be done.
This is what it takes. 3 chances. This is what it takes right here, baby.
Opportunity only knocking once. Let's go.
Tonight on Showbox, The New Generation, we come to you from the historic city of Berlin, Germany. It's a special Saturday night edition with a world championship on the line. We present same-night coverage from Max Schmeling Hall of one of the game's most feared punchers and longest reigning titles. Arthur Abraham, power in both hands, guts, drive, determination, and undefeated. Many call him the best middleweight in the world. Abraham's a fighter you want to see again and again. Tonight from Berlin, Arthur Abraham makes his 10th defense of the IBF middleweight title on Showbox, The New Generation. Welcome to Showbox, everybody. I'm Nick Charles with Steve Farhood in our New York studio to call the action from Berlin, where our colleague Al Bernstein is ringside for post-fight interviews. Steve, Arthur Abraham's one of the most exciting and unique champions most American fight fans just haven't seen enough of.
Indeed, that's because he's had very, very limited American television exposure, Nick. I love watching this guy fight because nobody fights quite like him. Arthur Abraham sticks his gloves up to protect himself, lets his opponents punch, and then when he returns fire, he does so with passion and with knockout power. It's led to a lot of very, very exciting IBF middleweight title defenses, none more so than his first fight with Edison Miranda a few years back. The problem right now for Arthur Abraham is that the middleweight division isn't real deep. There's really only one fight that we want to see at middleweight. You take a look at my top 10 in the division, and Kelly Pavlik has 2 belts. He's number 1. Abraham number 2. Then there's a big drop-off to Felix Sturm, who has the WBA title. Everybody wants to see Pavlik Abraham. The problem, Pavlik hasn't fought in a while, and when he does fight in the fall, according to his promoter, Bob Arum, he's looking at either Carl Froch at 168 pounds or Felix Sturm in a unification fight. Abraham, he has a mandatory due in September versus Giovanni Lorenzo. Maybe he takes that fight. Maybe he moves up to 68. But it's kind of a barren division. Paul Williams is certainly the X factor. He's an outstanding fighter. But is he really a middleweight? He's fought at welterweight. He wants to fight Shane Mosley. He fights at junior middleweight. So we can't count on him at middleweight, which really leaves Abraham and Kelly Pavlik as the fight we want to see.
Well, Abraham, to his credit, told us that he's not content to keep fighting in Germany. He also said he'd fight the American champion Pavlik in Pavlik's living room, which is a fight I would love to call.
Yeah.
But if that doesn't happen and the Sturm unification fight never does, he said he's moving up to super middleweight for the toughest, highest-paying bouts out there. And, Steve, there are plenty to choose from at 68.
Nick, what a division. Fans of Showtime have certainly seen that lately. So many good fighters. And you know what? Arthur Abraham's already proven that he can do it in the super middleweight division because he knocked out Edison Miranda in their rematch in a fantastic display of offense not that long ago. You take a look at my top 10 at 168 pounds. This is a big division. So many fighters, all of them match up well with Arthur Abraham. Kessler's number 1. He's been inactive, but his body of work, you have to leave him number 1. Bute versus Abraham. Froch versus Abraham. Don't forget the 2 Andres. Andre Ward now in the top 10. Andre Durrell. They're both undefeated. They would be fantastic fights with Arthur Abraham down the line. Abraham's having trouble making 160 pounds. There's no doubt he's going to super middleweight, Nick. It's just a question of whether that's sooner or later, and I think it's going to be sooner.
Well, tonight's 10th middleweight defense is against the former sparring partner, Mahir Oral. He's 29 years old. He's won 18 straight fights. He hasn't lost in over 5 years, but this is a huge step up in class. What specifically, then, does he have to do, Steve, to pull an upset tonight?
Well, Oral has to fight the perfect fight, Nick, and he's a rangy guy. He has to keep the fight outside. When Abraham covers up, as he always does, Oral has to land a lot of punches, score, impress the judges, steal a few early rounds. The key, when Abraham fires back, Oral has to either hold or he has to move around the ring, limit the number of exchanges. Can he win a decision here in Germany? He is German, so at least he has a chance for that. But it's going to take the perfect fight against Abraham.
So that's the setup story here in New York. Now let's go out to Max Schmeling Hall in Berlin. Packed hall and an anxious crowd in Berlin, ready for the main event of the night. Tail of the tape, Steve.
Well, Nick, strange that Oral's 4-inch height advantage doesn't translate to a reach advantage. Abraham says he made weight with no problem this time. He struggled big time to make weight 3 months ago against Lawan Simon.
The Abraham Morale title bout fought under IBF rules. Fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. Referee is the American Earl Brown. 3 international judges, 2 from Italy, 1 from England. Now to Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Fighting out of the red corner, wearing black with white, officially weighing 72 kilograms. Professional record, 28 fights, 25 victories, including 10 knockouts with 2 draws. Fighting out of Hamburg, the challenger, the Herausforderer, Mahir, the Lion And across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trimmed with blue, official weight 72.4 kilos. Professional record, a perfect one. Consisting of 29 fights, 29 victories, including 23 knockouts. Fighting out of Berlin, the reigning, defending, undefeated IBF middleweight champion of the world, IBF Weltmeister im Mittelgewicht, King Arthur.
Mahir, you received the instructions in the dressing room. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourselves at all times. Touch them up. Good luck to both of you.
So the send-off about complete and they're ready to go here. Arthur Abraham makes the 10th defense of his IBF middleweight crown. And Mahir Oral, who sparred with him over 5 years ago, had better be ready, Steve.
And it's good to be king, Nick, because King Arthur came into the ring. Oral was already in the ring about 5 minutes waiting for King Arthur and Simple Minds to finish their introduction.
And here we go. Watch Abraham if you haven't seen him enough. He's notoriously a slow starter. But as Steve mentioned at the top, his transitions are explosive from a defensive shell to attack mode. Never down, fabulous chin, tremendous heart, dangerous start to finish. And the advice for Mahir Oral, be cautious, box perfectly, don't get in a brawl, but he's got to win rounds early, Steve.
And that means punching. And as you watch this fight, you realize why Abraham is difficult for the judges, because when he holds his gloves so high, so many of the punches of his opponent don't get through. Some do, some don't.
Abraham last fought a couple of 3 months ago, actually, Lawan Simon, and didn't look very good. He had trouble making weight. He told us he only trained 2 weeks for this fight. He went to the Baltic Sea to train for this one and said he'd never had a better training camp. And it's Oral doing what he has to do, sticking the jab, but he's got to put punches behind him. It's very early. As he told us, I know how to beat him. I sparred with him, but that was 5 long years ago, Steve.
I think that experience, though, is a positive one because he has an idea of what Abraham does. And that can only help because, let's face it, he's a big underdog in this fight, and Abraham's the established champion.
So how he moves, how hard he hits, just for openers.
Yeah, exactly. And just having been in the ring with a fighter as accomplished as Abraham has to help your confidence a little bit.
Abraham characteristically taking his time. He'll look for opening, but it's all meaningful shots. He doesn't waste punches, Steve.
And right now, I mean, we're halfway through this round. If you're scoring it, well, you can't give it to Abraham because he hasn't thrown any punches. No one will ever say that Arthur Abraham fights 3 minutes a round. He doesn't do it.
And, you know, he'll let a guy burn himself out. He's got such supreme confidence, I think. That's the wonderful thing in his punching power and his ability to just unleash fury at any time. But, you know, you hate to see guys give away rounds, but he's content to do that. He let Edison Miranda burn up, and then he broke him in 2.
very quickly in the rematch as well.
Abraham's in the white. And credit Mahir O'Reilly. He hasn't been under any kind of pressure, but he's trying to make the fights. Sinks a shot, a right hand to the body of Abraham. Abraham finally drops his guard. One thing I noticed in the films we watched of Mahir O'Reilly is he has a tendency to drop that left hand after he punches, and that would be lethal against the right hand bullet that Abraham has.
Well, we knew O'Reilly had to be aggressive. It's only round one, but the one thing he's doing, Nick, that I like is that he's fighting at a good distance. He's not getting too close. That will negate some of Abraham's offense when Abraham does decide to punch.
As we close out the first, and you got to give it to the challenger. Good scene. Our interpreter, Gisela Brett.
Arte, du hast nicht einen Körpertreffer angebracht.
Yeah, you did very well.
Gerade hier aufwärts fahren. Komm noch.
Yeah.
Schön aufpassen.
You have to be very careful for the jabs.
Etwas mehr musst du machen.
You have to do a little more, though. You have to be a little more aggressive.
Also, etwas mehr musst du machen.
You have to be more aggressive.
Bisschen noch mehr hingehen.
You have to attack more so that he has to work more. And then you have to make a counter attack. Really, you really have to make an impression on your opponent. Don't make sure that you don't lose the momentum.
Steve, first he's got to get the momentum, though, right? He didn't do a thing in the first round, but it's very early. Now, O'Reilly's been 12 rounds twice. Abraham, his last fight, went 12, and he didn't distinguish himself. It was a lot closer, we thought, than the judges had it. That was in March. This is now.
Abraham's trainer, Uli Wegner, a legend here in Germany. Hey, he knows how Arthur fights. And this isn't surprising, nor is it reason for the corner to be, you know, upset or nervous about how it's going.
And he's the guy who had Sven Otke and brought in Abraham as a sparring partner, and 2 days later signed him, or had Wilfred Sauerland sign him.
Good signage.
Abraham in the white, or silver white. Very deliberate. There's the hands up guard. Looks like if O'Reilly had the hand speed, he could shoot something straight down the middle, and he's trying there. There's the jab. Nothing to it, though, from O'Reilly. He's in the dark. Abraham finally throws a jab. So he's sticking. And Steve, you know, early in his career, I saw more of a right-handed fighter, but boy, his left hook has been absolutely tremendous.
You just saw Abraham, Nick, throw a counter left hook to the body. That's why I feel it's very important for O'Reilly to attack from a distance. Even if he doesn't get his jab in, it will take away those kind of counter punches. So O'Reilly has to think defense, even though Abraham's style is making him think offense.
Yeah, get his hands back, but it's a dilemma. He's not a big puncher. 40% KO percentage for O'Reilly. Nice counter right hand from him. And now Abraham content to back against the ropes. He did that a lot against a lot of good fighters and light hitting fighters.
And he sucks you in. I mean, that's what I mean when I said at the top that no one fights like Abraham. Winky Wright keeps the high guard but comes forward while he does it. Abraham lets you come to him. Very unusual.
But again, a complete reversal when he transitions to offense. And he told us it's a very natural thing for him, Steve. That's the way he was taught. Started really boxing late at 18. He's 29 years old. They both are. And Mahir O'Reilly, last loss, as we mentioned earlier, over 5 years ago. But this is a big, big deal. This is a title fight against, by far, the toughest opponent he's ever met.
When a fighter holds his gloves so close to his face as Abraham does, it's not a bad idea every once in a while for O'Reilly to throw a wide punch.
He's thrown a few rights to the body that have landed. And now we see that left hook of Abraham coming into play. O'Reilly trying to press the pace a little bit, moving forward. And a good counter exchange. And O'Reilly got a bit of confidence up there with that right hand before the bell.
Arthur, das ist zu wenig, mein Junge. Laufe nicht die ganze Runde nachher nach.
You have to.
Laufe nicht die Runde nach. Musst du schon ein bisschen mehr machen.
You have to do more. You have to do more.
Mach schön zu und geh mit
Close
dem
your
linken
mouth
rein.
and attack with your left hand.
Du musst schon ein bisschen mehr machen.
You have to do more. Really have to do more.
Du musst schon mal richtig hinpflastern.
You
ja?
really have to punch hard.
Hast du gehört?
Did you hear me?
Doch. Muss schon los, schön gestoßen, bam, bam.
You have to.
Schön gestoßen.
You really have to.
Läufst du so ja nach.
You have to. Don't have to run after him. You have to be
Du musst schon ein
aggressive.
bisschen jetzt drängen. Du musst
You
schon
have to
mal was
push
machen.
him. You really have to take the initiative.
Der erste war weg, war ja klar.
As we head to the third, Nick Charles with Steve Farhood. Hope you're enjoying this fight. Third round, Arthur Abraham, the 10th defense of his IBF middleweight championship against Mahir Oral with a single loss. And they want Abraham. Uli Vector definitely wants him to be more aggressive and just let his hands go.
Well, he certainly in round 2 did a lot more fighting than he had in round 1. And what Abraham did, he gave you a little taste of what he's capable of. Punched a lot to the body. You're going to see a lot of that. Let's see how Oral, what distance Oral boxes at. He needs to punch and almost step back to take away Abraham's counter-punching opportunity.
So live from Berlin, Germany, it's Arthur Abraham. This broadcast being brought to you by German broadcaster ARD, and we're happy you could join us for a look at Arthur Abraham in many people's top pound-for-pound lists. Abraham now, he's getting busier, and the crowd had been sitting on its hands. They want action too. Left hook from Abraham. He's looking to walk Mahir into shots perhaps as he backs up, and Mahir comes forward but does keep that distance. The reach is about even on these guys, Steve, so even though huge height advantage for Oral, it's not doing him much good to fight tall, but he's got to keep a fight at a distance.
Oh, no doubt.
Box.
Yeah, I mean, he's 4 inches taller than Arthur Abraham, and that 4 inches translates to actually a quarter of an inch reach disadvantage.
And Steve, take every free shot you could get, and he's done a good job of doing that. But Abraham told us earlier this week that he is eventually going to go to the body and take away Oral's legs. And I'm not saying Oral's using the entire 19-foot ring that well, but he wants to slow him down to the body first once he begins to unleash offensively. We'll see.
We will. And, Nick, this fight starts when Arthur Abraham says it starts.
There you go. Perfectly put. Oral's hands are a little low here. Abraham tries a wild overhand right. His hands are low. I think he's open, the challenger. But Abraham is not wasting an ounce of energy. He's measuring with the jab. He really hasn't fired many. Looks like he wants to unload that right hand.
Pecking and poking is the right way for Oral to go. First of all, he's not a big puncher. Second of all, Abraham never down. One of the better chins in boxing.
He got hit with a right-hand counter. They punched together. And Oral, good job with that right cross as Abraham fired the left hook.
Oral down twice in his career, never stopped. He only has that one loss.
Steve, again, as you said, when Abraham wants to start this fight, you just get the feeling once he puts that offense, starts generating things like there. Very close round based on that flurry from the champion, it would seem, to end the third.
Mahir, die linke Hand muss etwas höher bleiben. Ja? Du lässt es zu sehr fallen momentan.
Has to be a little higher. You drop it too much.
Wenn er aufpasst,
if he pays attention, he can counterattack. So hold it lower. No, breathe out deeply.
Schnelle Hände und nicht vor ihm bleiben, sondern seitlich weg.
And attack from the side.
Mal einen kleinen Knicks machen, ja?
And don't go into your knees. Don't go into your knees. And be aggressive with your right hand.
Weiter so.
Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
So trainer Hans-Jürgen Witte caught the same thing we did, Steve, about those low hands from Oral. He could get countered drastically.
Yeah, that's the key. It's not so much where he holds his hands when he's in a boxing pose. It's where he holds his hands after he punches.
That's it. And we noticed that flaw in a little bit of film we did see. So after 3, Steve?
2 rounds to 1 for Oral, 29-28 on my card, Nick.
And gave Abraham that last round.
Yeah, based on that last flurry, as you said.
I would agree. Abraham undefeated. He's 29-0. He's lived here in Berlin. He's lived in Germany the last 15 years, moving from Armenia. And he is a superstar in Germany.
Nick, a little bit of a shift here because Arthur Abraham is not backing up. Standing in the pocket.
That means something could be in the works, huh? Good observation.
Yeah, and I think he likes the left hook.
We have seen him rattle people's cages with it big time. I used to look at him as a one-punch guy in terms of that big right hand. And that left is a weapon to always be regarded and respected now.
Excellent game plan for Oral, Nick. When Abraham dropped down and threw 3 shots to the body there, Oral instantly countered with the right. The only problem for Oral, he's not a big puncher.
No, but at least he's punching in between. I think that is the key, to punch in between. And because we'll see when Abraham revs up his punch output. He's going to have to, like there. But Oral always trying to come back, countering the counters. Now he'll take the play because Abraham's back in that shell, but Abraham trying to stick the jab and maybe work off it. And now we see Oral trying to create something here. Abraham not biting. Last minute of this 4th round. A very slow start for the champion, Abraham, but not out of character, as we've mentioned. Oral gets wrapped to the body by a combination and gets hit with a straight right hand and shakes it off. Gets hit with another one, so he's getting drilled now.
Best 2 punches of the fight, Nick.
Absolutely. And now he is down as he gets rattled. Left hook. Arthur Abraham answered the alarm, and here he's going for the finish. Will he make it with about 20 seconds to go in the 4th? Oral fighting back. He doesn't look rattled. He's got his legs. With 15 seconds to go, Abraham gets full extension on that right-hand shot. Oral refuses to hold on, and he gets hit with a combination flush, but seems that he'll make it out of this 4th.
Barely.
And a 10-8 round for Abraham.
And you're going to see right here the big right hand. Abraham started the round. Right hand after right hand.
Oh,
the left hook missed, Nick. The right hand was would put him down.
You raise your hands and counterattack, counter punch. Raise your hands. Listen to me. Raise your hands. You have to make long hands and then move them. Not go into his direction, so go around him.
Power punching display drops Mahir Oral for the 3rd time in his career. He hasn't lost in over 5 years, but he is in tough against Arthur Abraham, who has really dialed it in here as we head to the 5th.
Nick, all you could say is that when Oral punches, nothing happened, and when Abraham punched, something happened right away. I mean, this was very reminiscent of Abraham's rematch in June 08 with Miranda. Miranda did very well. All of a sudden, Abraham opened up, and the fight was over before you could blink an eye.
Abraham really hadn't gone to the body at all, but he's found a home, and that was a stumble. Errol Brown caught it. Looks like Oral's a little unnerved now in his corner in a sense of almost panic mode, because forget about boxing, basically just try to counter this tremendous aggression. But keep that range. How are you going to win rounds like that, you know?
Well, right now, Oral just has to do something to not get knocked out because he can't stop that right hand. Abraham, a little underrated in terms of hand speed. When he lets his hands go, He's pretty fast.
I think he flurries very well and rarely wastes anything. He's still sticking the jab, so it's not just loading up, but he's almost blinding Orel, making him think about that jab and then look out for the right-hand hammer or that left hook. So Orel definitely more defensive now. He has felt the steam of those shots.
Orel holding that left hand low, and when he fires the jab, he brings it back low. Abraham will see that, and he will take advantage of it again.
It's been happening all night when he chose to do it, but he has ramped it up now as we approach the halfway mark. Orel looks very solid technically, not a big puncher, but now he's just getting abused here. He's getting rocked, and Abraham basically teeing off, fighting at his pace, controlling range, controlling the pace. He's fighting when he wants. Nice left hook, though, from Orel as he suddenly turned the tables here in the fifth.
Yeah, he temporarily staggered Abraham, who fell backward from that left hook. This is why it's going to be tough for Orel, because he doesn't have the firepower. When a fight breaks out, and a fight broke out last round, how can he hope to compete with Abraham, who's so much stronger and has such a great chin?
It's a huge dilemma, but at least he's trying. And he's not hiding. He's not running in this fight, Steve. And he's trying to use his distance. He's trying to be elusive. He got hit with the tail end of that right hand. Now he's trying to cautiously come forward, but he's absorbing shots and not taking the initiative because Abraham is slowly taking over this fight. And convincingly.
Attack with your right hand the body. Not only the head. Direct your jabs towards the body. Did you understand? Attack the body. And hold and close your left fist and attack him in the body and at the head. Always attack with the left hand. You did that well. You do that so well. Attack with your left hand.
And Orel just caught in the worst possible position, standing in front of Abraham, doing nothing, Steve.
Well, what's very interesting, and you saw it on that replay, is that when Orel holds his gloves up, it doesn't seem to work. Abraham punches and gets through with his shots. If by nothing else, the pure force of the punch. When Abraham keeps his gloves up, Orel doesn't score.
Yeah, Orel, nice counter combinations, especially that right hand. I know not a lot on there, but it's important that he fires in between. He's single-shotting, he's doubling the jab at times, but not stringing stuff together, so Abraham, not threatened, is fighting at his own pace. You get the feeling he sets him up for a big power shot, and it could be over.
Well, if Orel's going to have any chance, Nick, he's going to have to hope that Abraham again struggled to make the weight. Abraham told us earlier this week that he had time to make the weight. He made it comfortably. Usually, Abraham's the stronger fighter in the second half of a fight. He's going to have to be dead at the weight for Orel to get back into this fight.
Oh, yeah, he seemed weight drained against Simon his last fight 3 months ago. No question about it. He doesn't. He's fighting the exact script I think they would want, although Uli Wegner has urged him to be busier and wants him to put that left hook into play more. A lot of missing in this round. Orel, give it to him coming forward, but he's not punching, and he's wide open there. His hands were low again. So he's getting drilled. And let's see if Abraham could open up to the body a little bit. It's almost as if he hasn't felt the need to, Steve.
And there's even less now on Orel's punches than there were, Nick. You could see that. The force on his blows has diminished considerably.
Give it to Orel. He's not a runner. He certainly doesn't have the bullets this other guy, the champion, does, but he's staying in there and trying to be somewhat elusive and countering, get caught. Right hand. Down for the second time. With a little bit off balance as he was pulling out, but that was still a clean right hand from Arthur Abraham. Let's see how hurt he was. 45 seconds to go. Orel has elected not to hold on once in this fight,
Yeah,
Steve.
that was a big mistake in the 4th round, and it's probably going to prove to be a big mistake again.
Abraham certainly not getting ahead of himself, though. Nice right hand in return from Orel, but his hands are coming back very slow, so he's getting drained.
Nick, you're right. He's gutty. Look at him. He's standing right in the pocket.
He's trying to punch with the champion. And Abraham with a good repertoire. He's really showing a lot of versatility offensively. And here comes Orel back. He's got Abraham in a neutral corner.
And that was a wide right hand that Orel landed, which is one of the things I said might work against a fighter as tight a guard as Abraham.
So Orel was down in that 6th round, but not stunned. He came back fairly well. But it's still 10-8 Arthur Abraham. Another look at the knockdown.
Nice adjustment there by Abraham in terms of what he did with his right hand.
Round 7.
Orel much more off balance there, Nick, than hurt, I think. You said that. And in the 4th round, he was legitimately hurt.
But needless to say, this fight is slipping away from Mahir Orel, who we had winning the first 2 rounds. But after that, it's been mostly the champion by design. As he has revved up the attack, Arthur Abraham, the undefeated IBF middleweight champion, having things his way. But back comes Mahir Orel, trying to create some openings, trying to make something happen. He's been aggressive enough to get Abraham's temporary respect in spots, but it hasn't deterred the champion.
He's trying smart punches. He's throwing the right punches. He just lacks the power.
Yeah, he's been very competitive. And partly by Abraham allowing that to happen. Not being busy.
Yeah, that's that puzzling style of Abraham, Nick. The way he fights, you think somebody would fight the right fight to take advantage of Abraham's style and beat him and outpoint him. It hasn't happened. He's unbeaten. And he's won in a number of ways. He can brawl with you, or he can show patience and take over in the second half of a fight. So
yeah, I mean, it's almost like a comedy. You hear Uli Wigner in the corner saying, you got to start fast. I mean, didn't they discuss this? You got to start faster. And after the first and second, he was telling him the same thing. Almost knowing that it was a predetermined script that Abraham would start slow, because that's just the way he wants to do it.
Orel needs to throw that right hand, make it a looping punch, or bring it from around the side. The reason he doesn't get a lot of leverage in the punch is he doesn't turn with it, doesn't bend his knees enough. You have to get your hip into the punch. Otherwise, it's just an arm punch, and that's what he's throwing with his power shots right now.
Well, he's outworked Abraham for much of this 7th round, but again, it's the champion allowing that to happen. Again, you're waiting for this guy to uncoil, though. You know, that stark transition.
And the 2 knockdowns, real big in terms of how these fighters are thinking. Because Abraham knows he has those extra points in the bank. He can give away a round like this.
But Steve, wouldn't he want to start thinking about stopping this guy? Would it be important to him?
Yeah,
not necessarily, huh?
Not necessarily. It's all about the title. The fact that Orel is a fellow German, or at least based in Germany, yeah, it would be nice to get a knockout, but I don't think Abraham's very worried about it. And also, it's relatively early in the fight for him.
It's true. Look at Orel, just exasperated, it seems. Can't make a dent, but he was busier in that 7th.
Du bist heute mehr als ein Löwe. Du bist 3, 4, 5, 10 Löwen.
You're more than a lion. You have to be more than a lion. You have to be 5, 6, 7 lions today.
Tief ausatmen.
Take a deep breath and let it all come out.
Raus.
Let the air come out. One more time. Good.
Mahir.
Raise your hands.
Aber jetzt musst du schon mal wieder zwischenpflastern.
But you really have to give some punches in order to be respected. Breathe through your nose.
Und dann kommt deine.
You really,
mit der Schlaghand zum Kopf. Hier,
really be aggressive. Use your lead hand. Punch with your lead hand.
Well, I agree. I think that Orell's getting a lot of false hope here because Abraham's allowing it. Honestly, I'd start getting on his case a little bit. You can't change him, I know, at this stage of his career, Arthur Abraham, but if he's in a dogfight with a lot of tougher guy, you just wonder if the pit bull in him will come out sooner.
Well, I answer that, Nick, by saying, can he make middleweight much longer? You know, he may be weakening himself fighting at 160, and he may be incapable of fighting 3 minutes around because he's weaker at 160.
Interesting. Arthur Abraham in the white. He's the defending champion, his 10th defense of the IBF middleweight title. They're in Berlin, Germany for this. Both fighters based in Germany. In fact, Orell born there. Abraham, nice lightning combination, but back comes Orell with a show of regard. He took the champion's best shots, and now he's coming back. It's almost like it ignited him. Orell showing real durability. You know, Earl Brown's been a non-factor in this fight, which is a good thing.
There haven't been any clinches, and there should have been clinches, at least from Orell's perspective, in the 4th round, but he never did hold on. I don't know how he made it to the final bell. He's fighting, Nick. He's really fighting. I'll give him credit.
Yeah, I thought so far winning this round.
But don't you get the impression that
anytime he wants to flip the switch?
Exactly. The maestro in there is Abraham. He's controlling the entire tempo of the fight. They fight when he wants to fight.
But we're already looking ahead. He's comfortably ahead those 2 10-8 rounds, but can you do that against stiffer competition? Champions at 68. Now it's Abraham opening up with the cannons. Orell's got to keep his hands up and defend himself and don't even look at the referee. Off balance from Abraham, but he recovered. Abraham getting on the jab now. His hands are down. He's really looking sloppy. He hasn't landed a clean shot.
I think it's safe to say at this point, Nick, and we knew this coming in, Arthur Abraham's a lot easier to beat than he looks.
Yeah.
Or he looks a lot easier to beat than he is what I mean to say.
He lulls you, he'll sucker you, won't he? Moving well, waiting for the counter that never came from Orell. Mahir Orell has been full of ambition and undeterred by the crowd. Of course, he's a German too, but the crowd clearly on the side of the champion. But he has been very focused in this fight. You can't call that second knockdown a real bad mistake from him. He's been hit by 2 right hands that dropped him. As we get ready to head to the 9th. German broadcaster ARD, the host broadcaster for this fight, so German luminaries have packed that place.
Well, the high guard doesn't really seem to work for Orell the way it does for Abraham.
You always have to use your lead hand and aim for his head, not only for the body.
My
dear man, you really have to show now that you are a champ. Let's water his head a little bit. You really have to be aggressive now. Come, my boy. Come.
So, a little bit of imploring from Uli Wegner. And I agree. I think everybody wants to see more out of Abraham at this point. He's been very measured against the light puncher. A very game opponent, but a guy he has to start thinking about getting rid of, I think. But I see no signs, but Abraham turns it on in one shot. Begner telling him go more to the head. Now, I haven't seen a lot of body shot from the champion. Now he's in defensive mode again. So that gives Oral a chance to put something together.
What he's putting together is effective, just not that strong and not that threatening. He can score points, but he doesn't seem capable of hurting the champion.
Yeah, he's not breaking down Arthur Abraham.
You know, Nick, the way Abraham fights, you'd think that somewhere along the line in 10 title defenses, somebody would have figured him out, fought the right fight, taken him at least to a close fight. He really hasn't had many close fights. The fights that have gone 12 for Abraham, 3 points is the closest any judge has scored for him. There's been nothing closer, nothing for the other guy.
It's really true. And, you know, I called the Raul Marquez fight last November, and he said, you gotta take his best shots. You got to show resistance. That's how you got to beat him, and you got to stay on him and just outwork him. But none of that happened. He lasted 8 rounds and retired.
Yeah, Marquez told me he had never been in the ring with a fighter as strong as Arthur Abraham.
Yes, strength as well as punching power. Yeah,
exactly.
But give it to Mahir Oral. For whatever reason, lack of activity from the champion. He's tried to stay in every round. He hasn't run. He hasn't gone into a defensive shell. He's tried to win every moment. Now he's getting battered, gets blitzed by a combination. Here comes the hand speed from Abraham. He's getting too many free shots. Hands down from the challenger as he walks into shot after shot. So that rifle jab from Abraham, trying to set up the power behind it. Now he goes to the body with the right.
That's the place to go for Abraham, because Oral's raising his gloves in an exaggerated way every time Abraham punches. Abraham needs to fake upstairs and go downstairs.
Abraham, nice right hand, a second one off that left that missed. Oral continues to shake them off, but look how low his hands are. As we close out the 9th from Berlin, Germany. There's Abraham's manager, Wilfred Sauerland, obviously pleased. Blitzing combination.
Yeah, again, the high guard not working.
You always go to the distance where he can really attack you.
Are you good, Mahir?
I'm here, man.
He's here, man.
All right.
Yeah, listen, we are fighters.
All right, I'm going to give you a little longer. All right?
We are from Turkey, we are warriors.
All right, baby.
Thank you, babe.
Ganz gut boxen, ja? Immer wieder als erster schlagen.
You really have to be the first one to punch,
Nicht auf die Distanz drücken lassen, wo er hin
and don't let you put into the distance where he wants to put you.
Halb ist so gut. Halb ist so gut. Ja, weiß. Hallo.
He's getting massaged there, huh?
Boy, the sheer force of Abraham's punches gets through and has an effect.
I thought very interesting that Earl Brown told the Mahir Oral corner that I'm going to give you some more time, but he almost gave him a warning that if you don't do more, it was a little strange, because I think he's done enough, not effectively, as you said, not threatening. Left hook puts him down. Third time.
Come on, let him in. All right, come on. Back up, back up.
This will be interesting. There's so much time left in the 10th that I think Abraham's going to go for it. He'd be foolish not to, Steve.
Right to the body, Nick.
There's a knee. The body took it out of him. This could be it. Let's listen.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, now come on. I can't let you take too much more of this, all right?
No 3 knockdown. Earl Brown will watch closely as the punishment mounts up. That's 3 times down. Orel is up again, but the body shots, that's rib-cracking stuff.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You go down and get him a stop, all right?
Oh, so much time left, Steve.
Well, one more knockdown will end it, and the corner apparently is stopping the fight.
Well, better before it got brutal, Steve. The right call at the right time, not a moment too soon.
I believe that was Ahmed Oner, the promoter and manager of Orel, who came into the ring. Referee saw it, and that was it.
You know, we talked about Arthur Abraham's guts and determination. Mahir Orel had all of that. He just didn't have the firepower. A decent skill set, but he certainly had the heart and drive to not get swept up in the moment and try to win. But he was down
5 times.
5 times.
3 times in the 10th.
Yes.
Right? And it was Abraham, interestingly enough, who saw and pointed out to the referee, Earl Brown, that the corner had climbed onto the apron.
Look at the delayed reaction, that right hand to the body.
There he is. He's pointing to the corner. He's saying, yeah, you want to fight on, but sorry, your corner doesn't want you to take any more punishment.
Oh, great camera work, wasn't it? A very revealing shot as Mahir Orel calls it a night. Vanquished by this man, Arthur Abraham, defends his IBF middleweight crown for the 10th time. And I think, Steve, in the manner in which I thought there was a need to do. It was time.
But Arthur Abraham goes according to his own clock, that's for sure. No one ever rushes this guy. And he fights a unique style, Nick, and how do you not want to see him more? He's a real warrior, a little bit better fighter technically than a lot of people think. And you want to see him with Pavlik. You want to see him with the top 168 pounders. Oh, they love Arthur Abraham here, and why not? The applause and the reaction might seem a little polite compared to American crowds, but they appreciate Arthur Abraham here in Germany. No doubt about that, Nick.
Kudos for Arthur Abraham. He gave the crowd what they wanted. In Berlin, body attack after starting to the head.
Bigger things ahead for Arthur Abraham, Nick. No doubt about that. Maybe literally bigger things if he jumps to 168.
Yeah, everybody talking, you know, middleweight, we would love to see the Pavlik fight.
My guess, Nick, this very easily could be Arthur Abraham's last fight at middleweight. He has that defense against Giovanni Lorenzo scheduled. Lorenzo could end up fighting Sebastian Sylvester for the vacant title if Abraham moves up.
That's a long wait, huh?
Yeah, I want to see Abraham fight at 168. I think he'd fit into that division perfectly because it's so deep and it's so full of action fighters, and he's an action fighter.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Earl Brown calls a halt to the bout at 1 minute 23 seconds of round of number 10. The winner by TKO victory, and still IBF middleweight champion of the world, King Arthur
Abraham moves to 30-0, 24 stoppages, a convincing win over a game, but outclassed, certainly not outgutted, but outpunched and outclassed Mahir Orel. Our Al Bernstein is ringside in Berlin. He will talk to the winner later, but first, a look at what's ahead on the sports calendar. July 11, 3-belt 115-pound King Vic Darchinyan moves to bantamweight to challenge IBF champion Joseph Egbeko in a battle of hard-hitting little men. The card opens with Showbox alum Antonio DeMarco facing Anges Adyaho in a 10-round lightweight matchup. July 31st is another edition of Showbox, the main event of face-off between Showbox alums when rising lightweight star Marvin Quintero meets Tyrone Harris in a 10-round bout. The following night, Showtime Championship Boxing is back with a doubleheader headlined by a junior welterweight clash when undefeated Timothy Bradley defends his title against former lightweight champion Nate Campbell. Opening the card, unbeaten Devin Alexander battles former world champion Junior Witter for a vacant 140-pound title. That same night, it's MMA on pay-per-view when the last emperor, Fedor Emelianenko, takes on the baby-faced assassin Josh Barnett in the headliner of Affliction Trilogy. And 2 weeks later, Strikeforce presents another action-packed card, including a lightweight title rematch between Josh Thompson and Gilbert Melendez. The headliner features a highly anticipated matchup between Gino Carano and Chris Cyborg. For more information, visit our website at sports.show.com. Let's go ring center in Berlin now with Al Bernstein and Arthur Abraham.
Here with the victorious Arthur Abraham, Callie Sauerland will be translating for us. First of all, in the first 4 rounds, he was hit with some good right hands by Oral. Did any of those hurt him?
Arthur in die erste Runde, der hatte schon mit ein paar rechte gute Treffer gelandet. Hatte das überhaupt nicht wehgetan?
Nein, das hat überhaupt nicht wehgetan und das war für mich überhaupt nicht hart. Ich weiß nicht warum, als er harte Schlag sieht.
He says they definitely didn't hurt him. They definitely weren't hard. He's not sure which punches you're talking about.
Yeah, well, some right hands got in, but you do that. You always spend the first several rounds finding out what your opponent has. Is that something he's always going to do?
Ist das etwas, was du immer machst, dass die ersten paar Runden erstmal den Gegner anguckst und dann eine Entscheidung machst, was du machen wirst?
Ja, das ist meine Taktik. Ich beobachte meinen Gegner am Anfang und dann ich analysiere im Kampf, mache ein bisschen Druck und dann, wenn ich die Lücken finde, dann hau ich zu.
So he watches the opponent for the first few rounds, watches his strategy, and then it's all guns go from there, and he knows exactly what he's going to do then.
He sure did tonight. In round 4, he switched from throwing a lot of left hooks to a lot of right hands. Was that a tactic that seemed to work for him in the fight?
In die Runde 4 hast du auf einmal die Rechte richtig angefangen zu benutzen. Also war das auch eine Taktik, dass du in der Minute entschieden hast, jetzt muss ich mit die Rechte rein?
Ja, er hat am Anfang sehr ganz große Tempo gemacht. Und dann, ich habe mich verteidigt und dann, wo er offen war, wo er schon müde war, habe ich meine Rechte reingesetzt und das hat genau gepasst.
Said Mahir started the fight with a very high tempo. He waited for the tempo to come down and then he started to use the right hand.
He sure did. Now, Giovanni Lorenzo is his mandatory. There's talk about a Kelly Pavlik fight. Will he stay at middleweight to fight them?
Also das Giovanni Lorenzo und natürlich auch den Kelly Pavlik Fight, da gibt es auch viele Gerüchte. Bleibst du jetzt beim Mittelgewicht oder wie sieht's aus?
Ich bleibe im Mittelgewicht und im Supermittelgewicht. Welche Chance zuerst kommt, dann mache ich.
So he's going to either middleweight or super middleweight. He sees where's the big fights, and that's where he's going.
Well, some of the big fights are at super middleweight. People like Carl Froch, Lucien Boutet, Mikkel Kessler, and the young Americans like Andre Ward and Andre Durrell. What about them?
Also im Supermittelgewicht gibt es natürlich die ganz großen Kämpfer, also die Kesslers, Froch, Boutet, Durrell, Ward.
Deswegen will ich auch Supermittelgewicht gehen, dass ich diese großen Kämpfe in Amerika machen kann. Das ist mein Ziel. Ich möchte in Amerika boxen. I want fight in America.
Okay.
Das ist für mich my big Traum. Wie heißt das?
Yeah. It's his dream. Arthur wants the big fights. He's going to go where those fights are, and that's in the States, and it's in super middleweight. But there are obviously options also at middleweight. That's why we have to see.
Can you ask him, can anybody hurt him? Can he be hurt?
Kann jemand dich wehtun? Gibt's jemand?
Yeah.
My mother.
Okay. Hey, that's a good answer. Well, congratulations to Arthur Abraham. Victorious. Unsure exactly what weight his future will be at, but he thinks it'll be a good one.
And we know future opportunities look limitless for Arthur Abraham, who makes the 10th defense of his middleweight title tonight in Germany. For Steve Farhood and Al Bernstein, I'm Nick Charles. Thanks for watching Showbox. Good night, everybody.